negative reviews for Subnautica. Let's debunk some. Hey, what's going on, geeks? Max the Beast is here, and welcome to another little video. Today, I'm going to be debunking issues that people might have with Subnautica. Now, before anyone says anything, I know this sounds incredibly stupid and biased and whatever other word you want to use to describe this, but trust me, I have nothing against personal opinions. However, there are some issues that I've seen over reading these negative reviews over the last few months that are plain maybe stupid, maybe just... I mean, some of these are old. I mean, look at this one right here on the far left. It's October 30th, 2015. Some of these are old, so things may have been fixed since then, and stuff like that. So, we're actually not going to be taking a look at the reviews. No, we're going to take a peek at some of the discussions, because some of the discussions are worse than the reviews, because as you can see most of here, it's just people complaining about frame rate, which I do a lot with games. So none of these I have any issues with. So, let's take a peek at the discussions. So first one we're starting off with is one that actually was posted an hour ago, titled Waterproof Lockers. And it reads, "They suck. I mean, they're not useful for you, even before you have a base in the shallows. Same goes for carry bags you find in the Aurora. They serve no real purpose as they have less space and don't really have any more mobility." Okay, then there's a section, there's some suggestions on how they can improve them. Okay. I can see where this guy's coming from. But sometimes a little storage locker, sometimes an outdoor storage locker can be more useful, especially in very early game. And you said before you get your first base. Because remember, before you get your actual base, all you have for storage is your pockets and the little storage chest in your life pod. That's all you got. So, until you make your base where you can actually start putting in lockers and stuff, which have more space, that little chest is all you got until you start making waterproof lockers that you can put around outside. And you can even glitch them into your life pod. Now, I haven't had an issue in the past where my items inside these lockers get erased for whatever reason if they're inside the life pod, so it may be a little bit buggy. But at the same time, everything goes all right. You should be able to plop your locker in there and have more space in your life pod. And in early game, it'd be nice to sometimes sprinkle them around your life pod, like, to keep it easier. They don't float around anywhere. They don't move. They don't drift. They just kind of, exist. They float in one spot, and you can just put items in there. And what I typically do when I use these, whenever I start a new world and start a new file and start messing around with stuff in early game again, is when I make the waterproof lockers, I sprinkle them around my life pod, or in the general area around the life pod. So whenever I get on if I need something, just get out of the life pod and go a few feet and get whatever is in the locker. Also, you can name them. So you can name them accordingly to what supply you put in there, or what type of material you put in there. I mean, of course, you can just memorize this stuff, but I mean, who does that sometimes? But while, yeah, the luggage bags that you find in the Aurora and in other wrecks, those things are essentially useless. Except you can pick them up even when they are full, which is something you can't do with the waterproof lockers. And I read that you said that you wanted to be able to tug them around. That could be a good feature, actually, being able to pull them around instead of having to take out all the items inside in order to pick them up. But at the same time, there's luggage bags for that. And I know you said that you didn't like luggage bags, but I mean, they do exist, and you are able to pick them up with items still inside them. I mean, it's really though whatever. I mean, I personally think the outdoor lockers are okay. I don't see that how they're a negative feature to the game, as I have used them in the past, and they are quite useful to me. So, and I know plenty of other players who use waterproof lockers as well and think that they're a useful addition. So, I don't know, but allowing you to be able to move the waterproof lockers with items in them would be nice. I do agree with that. Although theoretically, shouldn't you just be able to, bump into them and start just like swim into them and be able to push them around theoretically? Maybe. I don't know. Never really tried before. But yeah, it would be nice to have a way to move them without having to take out other items. I agree with you there. Okay, so this fine fellow has had an issue with the game wiping his stuff. And he got this after the game was released. And he says, and not even 3 hours into my first playthrough, I build one building on the floating island, and I save and quit. I get on today, and it's gone. Everything in it is floating in the air, and I can't build anything anywhere. I'm on the stable version, and in less than 3 hours, I have to resort to cheats just to get back to where I was. What is this? Builder's broken. I make another builder, and it doesn't work either. I changed the battery, and it still doesn't work. Apparently, my body's also missing. Characters are floating head with some floating hand. What the frick? Okay! I have had actually similar issues with annoying glitches before in the past myself. For instance, this glitch I'm about to show you right here. Where, for some reason, when the prawn suit's docked in the moon pool, you can't put upgrades in, even though the upgrade console is open. Or the upgrade hatch is open. It's kind of weird. I tried this multiple times, and it just would not let me input modules inside the moon pool. So I have had annoying glitches before. And I actually have had an exact situation. I have been in your exact position before where my world wipes my stuff. This happened before several times to me in the past, and it's incredibly annoying. I agree with you there. It's happened to me in the past. I've built up a bunch of stuff, and then my world wipes everything. It's annoying to say the least. And I remember feeling so frustrated because I spent literally 3 hours making a base and making my sea moth and everything, getting through the basic early game stuff. And then just log on and it's wiped. I am completely with you there. It's aggravating to spend a lot of time progressing in the game just to have that success ripped from you. But at the same time, I'm still going to support the game because I love the game. And I'm willing to see past glitches and bugs, even no matter how aggravating they can be. I mean, don't get me wrong, that is horrible. That's a horrible thing that happened, and I'm so sorry that you had to experience that. But, at the same time, give the game a chance. Load up a new file, maybe your world is corrupted. I have had experiences in the past where updates have corrupted my files. So, my advice is to start a new world and see if you can fix things doing that. If not, then okay, you can get a refund if you want. But I'm just saying, give the game another shot. I'm not saying to ignore glitches, or please report these to the developers. Like, send that in a tweet to them, or do something to get their attention. There is, or at least was, a report bug feature in the game where you'd press a certain FN key, or not FN, F key, like F7 or F8. I think it was F8, and it would bring up a little menu where you could report a bug. So be sure to do that if it's still in the game. It should be in the game. If it is, do that and send that bug report right to the developers so they'll know, okay, something's wrong. I mean, like I said, I have had issues even in the stable full release branch of glitches that have caused me varying amounts of inconvenience. But I urge you to send your bug report to the developers and get help. But don't give up, because if you give up, then you can't experience the wonders of what a good game this actually is underneath the several layers of bugs. I mean, personally, ever since I haven't had that many issues with the game upon its stable release, but apparently seeing not reviews, but seeing things like this broadcast that there is, or highlights that there is some issue, people having issues with the stable for release branch. And I apologize, even though I'm not a developer of the game, I'm just a massive fan of it. But I urge you to give the game a chance. Again, start a new file, send your bug report, and hopefully enjoy the game. I wish you luck, good friend. So this next little discussion tab is called Predator Fighting. Hello, I am looking at this game with a curious eye, but there are some things that perplex me. I saw on streams that there are big predators in the game, but from the lives I have seen, the tactic is mostly to run away from them. Later I saw a submarine, but I never saw anyone actively attacking the creatures. Then there's a gun that kind of slows them down, but that's it. So the question is, you hunt in this game. I mean, you only catch fish, literally. But what about bigger prey? Can you even fight them in your machines? And if yes, is there some sort of benefit to it? Good question. Happy to answer. So, yes, there are quite large life forms out there. And yes, you can combat them if you so desire. There's really no reason to. Killing them does not grant you any kind of reward, except that there's one less Leviathan class creature out there that's going to try to kill you. You can kill them, but there's a reason why the most common tactic is to run away, and it's because these creatures are frickin' insane. You can get grabbed, you can get fireballed, or stalked from behind, or you can just get destroyed by these Leviathans. And the goal of the game is not to make you some absolute super strong, super powerful monster hunter. No, the goal of the game is to survive and to escape the planet, not to hunt Leviathans. I mean, yes, you can kill them if you so desire. However, there's a reason why the game does not give you outright ways to just kill everything. It's because there's no reason to. You don't need to. You can survive and play the game and beat the game without killing a thing other than the fish you have to eat. You don't have to kill Leviathans. The Leviathans are there, but you do have means to combat them. For instance, you can get torpedo modules for your Seamoth and Prawn suit that allow you to shoot gas torpedoes and vortex torpedoes to spook them away, to get them away from you. But they're not there to kill them. Like I said, the goal of the game is not to make you some insane monster hunter. It's a survival game about an ordinary person put into an extraordinary circumstance. It's essentially like if you now, a regular human being, I'm assuming unless you're some soldier or something that I don't know about, is the sole survivor of this giant shipwreck, and you're on an alien world surrounded by hostile fish, bacteria, and who knows what else. You're an ordinary person. You're not gonna be the guy from an anime that's butchered countless giant monsters. You're not meant to be a monster hunter. Your character is an ordinary person sent to work on a phase gate, not sent to fight creatures. So, as such, you're not equipped with large weaponry and things to kill things with. The most dangerous weapon you have is a knife, and, well, you can kill things with your gas torpedoes. if you spam it enough. But you're really not supposed to be out there killing things, as that's not the goal of the game. And you said that there are means of freezing leviathans. Yes, the stasis rifle. And that's really all you need. You don't need to kill them. And there is a method of killing a Reaper where you just stasis him infinitely and just keep knifing him until he dies. But you don't have to kill things. That's the point. The point of the game is to try to. It's not about pacifism. Don't put words in my mouth. It's not about being a pacifist and finding non-violent solutions to everything. No, it's not about that. But think about it this way. In real life, if you were in this situation, your first goal would probably not be killing Leviathans. Your first goal would probably be getting away from Leviathans. And that is why running from them is a much more viable tactic than going back and trying to fight them. I mean, of course, I've been stupid before and tried to scan one without a stasis rifle before, and that was insane. But I didn't kill it. And my first thought was not to go and fight it. Oh, and I saw you said something about bring up submarines and saying that no one attacks things with submarines. It's because your vortex torpedoes that you can get are mainly for warding off medium to smaller range predators such as sand sharks or stalkers. What the vortex torpedoes do is they suck the predator in, spin it around a bit, and then throw it in some random direction, like a long way away. Against Leviathans, vortex torpedoes are useless. However, gas torpedoes will stun them and will spook them away. But the Seamoth and Cyclops are not equipped to actively fight Leviathans. However, the prone suit, you have different arm attachments that you can put on, such as the drill arm, where you can grind fish to death. It's more of a deterrent, but with enough time you can, with a grapple arm and a drill arm, you can grapple onto a predator and just keep grinding it until it dies. You can kill fish and predators doing it like that, and you can kill Reapers and other Leviathans like that. So the prone suit would be your big old Leviathan hunting thing. However, it can die if it gets hit too many times by a Leviathan, or by anything really. So you're not supposed to, like I said, you're not supposed to be some invincible, super powerful monster hunter. You're an ordinary survivor thrown into extraordinary circumstances. So I'm sorry if you were hoping that this was going to be an underwater monster hunting game, or that at least killing Leviathan would actually progress you somewhere. But this is not like Minecraft. This is not like Monster Hunter. Killing creatures does not grant you any reward, unless you kill a random fish with a thermoblade. Then you get food. But other than that, killing things doesn't really get you anywhere. One small step for man, one giant leap for Subnautica. I find a time capsule and this line shows up. What is this? I got a knife, a builder, a scanner, some resources I didn't catch on. Is this an Easter egg to help people survive? Well, if it's that, then bad luck. It's under 280 depth. Also, who is that awesome crunch? Ooh! I can answer this. Okay, so what you found there was a time capsule. These are apparently added so when people who launch the endgame rocket can leave behind some items and a little message to survivors. This is at the very end of the game. You can find these scattered across the map, and they are from, like I said, they are from people who have launched the rocket. You can edit a message of your time capsule to be whatever you want. You can put in items in there, pretty much anything. And anybody who finds it will get those items and be able to read a nice little message. I personally have not found one yet. Still looking. But hopefully I'll find one eventually, and if I do, I'll share what I found. But anyway, Awesome Crunch is a Subnautica YouTuber who does videos about updates and lore and stuff like that. He explains theories and all that jazz. So if you're wondering who Awesome Crunch is, then that's who he is. So if you found his time capsule, then good job. Good for you. Hopefully I find somebody famous. And our final discussion for the day is titled Considerations about Inventory Management. Apparently it was previously called Bad Storage Mechanics. This is the second time today I've seen somebody complaining about storage. So let's see what this guy's issues are. You have one tiny storage at the pod. Yep, you can create chests that leave floating in the water and sometimes lose track of. That's never happened to me, but okay. Items don't stack for whatever reason. Tools don't leave your inventory when placed in the quick bar like in most games. What? It's like they just reference. So the tools take a ridiculous amount of space, like the glider thingy. Some of the resources take a ridiculous amount of space. Given how fast the hunger and thirst meters go down, you gotta have silly amounts of food and water on long exploration runs, and again, they don't stack. Okay. What the heck? To refund it? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a quick minute to say I did read through some of the comments of that post, and to be honest, I do feel kind of bad. That the community was not very helpful, and mostly calling him like an entitled piece of crap or just insulting him, instead of providing an actual response and answer to his question. However, I have plenty of things I need to call out for myself. As, first of all, you do not refund a that is just stupid. That you want to refund the game and get rid of the game because, oh, items don't stack. Well, it's something called realism, buddy. Listen, in real life, things take up space. There's something called matter. And it makes up everything. Meaning, it takes up space. We can't just have... It's not like in other games where you can carry thousands of pieces of metal salvage and stuff like that around with a person and still be able to move around just fine. While I personally don't have any complaints with those type of games, because I understand that it's not supposed to be realistic to the max. In Subnautica, they're trying to be more realistic with the inventory system as things take up space, not stackable. In real life, people don't just run around carrying 100 pieces of metal, 100 pieces of whatever, because things take up space and things have weight. And the reasons tools such as the Sea Glide take up more space is because they're physically larger objects out there. A Sea Glide is a parallel to our actual real-life glider tool. And those things are a couple feet long, or at least a foot long. And that's pretty big. You can't just cram that in your pocket. No, that will take up quite a lot of space, no matter how futuristic the game is, or the setting is. And, as I said, items such as titanium, water, and other things don't stack because they're items, and it's focusing on realism. Meaning, and I think it's pretty reasonable, titanium, and most of the resources in the game only take up one space. The stuff that I've seen that takes up more are typically like eggs, certain tools, and no, they changed the blue artifact, so that's been reduced to one space. So I honestly don't see where you're coming from that part. I honestly have no clue what he's talking about when he says stuff like the inventory, the items in the hotbar, like, don't stay there when you put the item into a chest or something. That's never happened to me. Typically whenever I put, and I've seen other people do it too. So when somebody puts an item that they have on the hotbar into a locker or something, the item on the hotbar goes away. So I've never seen that issue. I've addressed the whole floating chest thing earlier, so I don't see any issues there. If you just pay attention to where they are. And I think fish may bump into them and actually move them around a little bit. So maybe make sure that they're anchored down or in a location where a fish is not likely to swim. So if you just make sure you keep track of where you put them and make sure you look around the general area of it, make sure a fish hasn't bumped into it, I think it should be okay. And then finally talk about your food and water issue. Sounds to me you're ill prepared. Whenever I go on lengthy expeditions, I make sure I have at least 2 cured items and 2 filtered waters. Now, I have the water filtration machine in this save file I'm playing here. And water filtration machines create big filtered water bottles. And when you drink those, that restores 80% of your water bar. So, you just get a couple of those and you're going to be set for a trip. It goes down because you're using a lot of energy to... When you use energy in real life, you get hungry and you get thirsty. You go a long time without eating and drinking, you get hungry, you get thirsty. It's called realism, bud. Not everything can be Rust. Not everything can be 7 Days to Die. I'm not saying these games are bad, but I'm saying that they're not realistic. And, yeah, being stuck on an alien planet with the space plague, that's not necessarily realistic itself, but it's trying to be realistic in mechanics such as inventory and food and water. And I must say, you do sound quite entitled. Like when you're one of those people who expects to have things their way all the time, wants to get their way all the time without questioning. Buddy, please just open your mind, open your eyes. The real world, things take up space. Subnautica, things take up space. If you're going to refund the game because you don't like the way the inventory system works, well, fine. I personally think that's a stupid reason to do so, but you're your own person. However, I would recommend you give the game a chance and look past the stupidity of your point there. Because I don't know what universe you live in where matter doesn't exist. But listen, grow up. Well, let me know what you guys thought about this whole video. Was it being too hard on some of these people, or was I just... I mean, I don't think I really personally attacked anybody until the last one. But if you agree with any of my points, or agree with anything that happened in the video, be sure to leave a like. And subscribe for some more actual Subnautica content. Anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. And if you were one of these people who I talked about in the video, please let me know if I helped. If I was able to address your issue and give you insight on how to fix or do something differently. Your feedback is appreciated. Hope I helped. As always, Max the Beast is out.